Hey guys, welcome to my kitchen. Another big exciting day in my kitchen. Where are we going? What are we making? I'm thinking we go to Tuscany today. Doesn't that sound fantastic? You've got the rolling hills, the aroma of Italy, the wine, the food. Oh, that's what we're making. We're making food today. So what are we gonna do today? Today we're gonna make a bucatini, which is a type of pasta. I'll talk about that in a minute. We're gonna make a bucatini with an eggplant pesto. Does that sound fantastic or what? Something I've had many times when I've traveled throughout Italy. This is no exception. It's gonna be delicious. So what do you say? Let's go over ingredients. Let's start having some fun. First thing you're gonna need is a pasta or your starch. It's called bucatini. Hey, how you doing? All right, so this is what bucatini is. Buca means like a hole. So you've got a pasta. It looks very similar to spaghetti, and it's got a really neat little hole right there. You see it? I don't know if you can see it here on the camera. So the hole goes the whole way through the pasta. And the beauty of that is it's gonna capture sauce. So here I've got 1 pound of pasta, 1 pound of bucatini pasta. You can use a spaghetti or like even a fettuccine, maybe a linguine, but bucatini is the traditional pasta in which this is served. Next, you're gonna need an eggplant. There you go, right there. I got about 1 pound, such a beautiful vegetable. So we've got 1 pound of an eggplant. I'm gonna show you how to cook that. Where's pesto without basil, right? Oh, the most aromatic. It is certainly my most favorite of all the herbs. So with our basil, we're gonna want about 1/4 cup of basil to make our pesto. Next, you're gonna need flat Italian parsley. Parsley is very herby, it's peppery, but you know what's interesting with parsley? It's got a little bit of a citrus background, almost like a little bit of a lemon background. It's so delicious. And it's one of those herbs that's used frequently, but sometimes here in America, we don't realize how vital and important it is. So this is a flat Italian parsley, if you can get it. Same thing, we're gonna want about 1/4 cup or so of our flat Italian parsley. Next, you're gonna want some oregano. You're starting to see a theme here with the Italian herbs. Now, oregano, this is fresh oregano. Sometimes it's tough to get at your store. So if you can't get the fresh, that's fine. Just remember that with fresh, you're gonna use twice as much, or dried, you're gonna use half as much. Same thing here, we're gonna want, in this case, about 1 tablespoon, no more than 1 tablespoon of our fresh oregano, or 1/2 tablespoon if you're using dried. And oregano is a much softer herb, but much more earthy in flavor. Pesto always requires nuts. Traditionally, in Genoa, when you make pesto, they're gonna use basil and they're gonna use a pine nut. Today we're gonna use walnuts, and here I've got just shy of 1 cup, maybe 3/4 cup of chopped walnuts. And I wanna show you how to prep these to just, it's gonna add some delicious flavor that you normally wouldn't get. Gotta have some garlic. Garlic is so delicious. It truly is the flavor. It's the foundation of Italy. Here we're gonna use about 2 to 3 cloves of garlic, depending on the size and how much you love garlic. This recipe is gonna call for some tomatoes. In this case, we're gonna use the tomatoes kind of crazy as a garnish. You know how normally you'd use something kind of like a green or an herb to hit it, which we'll do a little bit of that, but we're gonna actually dice up some tomatoes, maybe 1 tomato, dice it up really small. Where's pasta without Parmesan Reggiano, or Parmesan cheese, right? The king of all cheeses. This is delicious. So we're gonna use about a quarter to about 1/3 cup of grated Parmesan or Parmesan Reggiano cheese. Now, ideally, get the higher quality if you can get it. You're gonna need some fresh ground pepper. Fresh ground, the only way to go. If not, you're drying out the oils or you lose a lot of flavor. And with our pepper, we're gonna use about 1 teaspoon of pepper. We're also gonna want some salt. Today, we're gonna use some flat Sicilian salt. Again, it's a little lighter, it's a little brinier, you know, a little earthy. It's really delicious, and it's from Italy, so for some reason it's gonna taste better, right? Everything from Italy tastes better. Finishing up with ingredients, guys, you're gonna need some olive oil. Now, you're gonna want, you know, something Italian, extra virgin Italian olive oil, peppery, grassy, earthy. Where would I go? I know where I would go. I'd go right to either my website or my Facebook page, or our Instagram, Cooking Italian with Joe, and you're gonna see buy it now. Click the buy it now. You can grab either a large or small bottle. And we own, anyone new to our channel, we own a farm in Italy. We co-op with a whole group of farms to bring you some of the best extra virgin Italian olive oil you're ever gonna have. You're probably wondering where the name comes from. I have 2 boys, 2 sons, who are all grown up now, Vito and Joe. So I named the company after my 2 kids. And you know, when I look at my olive oil, I look at a bottle of that, I always think of it as taking a trip to Italy right in a bottle. Couple other tips here to make this go really well. You're gonna wanna preheat your oven to 400 degrees. Get it nice and hot to prep for cooking that eggplant. You're gonna need a pot of water, hot, seasoned with salt. Food processor, always the way to go. You're gonna need a serving dish. I got a beautiful one here made in Italy. Isn't that just gorgeous? So we're gonna serve it in that. Again, aesthetically, it's gonna look beautiful. First thing to start here, guys, is your eggplant, because that's gonna take you a few extra minutes. First thing we wanna do in order to prep this, you're gonna take your knife, just cut this eggplant right down the middle, and then you're just gonna cut your top off here. What we wanna do is we wanna heat this up and bake it down, because we wanna cook the flesh. And it's that delicious flesh we're gonna use in order to make our pesto. Real simple, I'm gonna take my oven, 400 degrees, take the middle rack, and I'm just gonna set them both just like this. You know, you could score them, you could season them, but we're gonna season everything anyways. We're gonna go about 25 to 35 minutes. We want everything tender and fleshy. While these are cooking, we wanna prep the rest of our ingredients. Now, in order to create magic with our walnuts, you could put walnuts or pine nuts in there and it's always good, but I'm gonna tell you, when you roast a nut, when you take that raw nut and you put it in a pan and you heat it up or you put it in the oven, what it's gonna do is it's gonna cook those oils. So the oils are gonna change their flavor, it's gonna enhance them, and it caramelizes some of the carbs, some of the sugars within the nut. So it gives you a much deeper, richer flavor. So I've got a cast iron pan here, low heat, and to start with, I'm gonna dump these walnuts right in the pan to get them toasting. Just watch them, we don't want them to burn. It doesn't take long at all. First thing here is I want about a tablespoon or so of the oregano leaves. So I'm just gonna take that stem and I'm gonna pull it. Oregano's all set. Now I'm gonna start with that basil. Basil leaves are so fresh, they're jumping all over the place. All right, so I've got my basil, and that's enough for this because we're gonna be mixing it with some other herbs. So we've got here about 1/3 cup tops. Next, guys, we've got our parsley. So in this case, I just want a little bit of parsley. So just take a sharp knife, draw it across your parsley. And again, we're looking for about the same amount of parsley as we have with our basil. Just go through it, pull any of the stems out. Less stems means you're gonna have less bitterness. And it literally just takes 30, 40 seconds. And beautiful, there's our parsley. Now our walnuts are toasted. Don't get worried about a little bit of that darkness in there, because that's just the dusting of the walnuts, but that's beautiful. So we're gonna get them right out, that's gorgeous. Next, guys, we want our garlic here. I'm gonna look for about 3 cloves. What I'm gonna do is give them a good hit. We're gonna peel them. Look at that, isn't that gorgeous? Skin comes right off. You don't have to worry about slicing it or prepping it any more than this, because we're gonna throw it right in our food processor. Gorgeous. Now we wanna get going on our cheese, so I just got a grater here. And again, we're gonna throw it in the food processor anyways, but it helps a little bit to get it grated down. And we're looking for about 1/4 to 1/3 cup. Last here, we're gonna use some tomato, and this is gonna be for our garnish. We're not gonna add this to our pesto, but just clean your tomato here. Beautiful. And now what I want to do is I want to dice it. So I'm going to do some really easy slices going across. I do this. And real simple, guys, I'm going to go ahead and take a measuring cup in this case, and I'm going to go ahead and throw all my tomatoes in here. And then what will happen here is a lot of the moisture will work its way out of the tomato, and I'll just grab what's on top, not the moisture, in order to garnish my dish. Guys, my water is at a rapid boil. It's been seasoned. I'm going to take my pound of bucatini, throw it right in there. And you want to just stir it a few times initially, just so nothing sticks. Now, a couple other tips that make this come out molto deleccio is when you subscribe to our channel. Now, I know what you're thinking, how do I subscribe? There's a red button right there. When you subscribe to the channel, I'll tell you, any trips we got coming to Italy, which we got coming up one in a couple of weeks, any new recipes, any new tips on traveling, all that'll come to your notification box. And as I tell you guys every week, you know, it really means the world to me when you guys subscribe to the channel, and it makes you part of the familia here, makes you part of the Cookin' Italian with Joe group. I know you're thinking olive oil, you probably already ordered it, and I'm sure it's already on its way. All right, what do you say? Let's get going on our pasta and making some pesto. Here's my food processor, top off. First thing I want to do is add my garlic, some salt, maybe 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Not too heavy on our salt because the Parmesan Reggiano has salt in it, your Parmesan cheese. And a teaspoon of freshly ground black pepper. And now I'm gonna go ahead and give this a hit. And that's beautiful. That's what you want. You want to get all that mince, you want all those flavors to start coming out of the garlic before I mix it with anything else. Now I want to add my walnuts. Give it a good pulse. Oh, I'll tell you, the aroma right there with the walnuts and the garlic. Oh, that's beautiful. Now I know what you're thinking. What about the eggplant? I pulled it out about 10 minutes ago, so it's still kind of warm, but it's cool enough to handle. So here's my eggplant. See how nice and mushy and gooey it is? Isn't that beautiful? So real simple, guys. What I find most of the time is I just open it up a little. Oh, isn't that great? And most of the time, the skin will come off just like I need it. And then I'll use the spoon to scrape the skin if I need more of the flesh. And now I'm gonna go ahead and add that flesh of my eggplant right into my pesto and give it a good minute of pulsing. And that is absolutely perfect. I'm gonna add my parsley. I'm gonna add my basil. I'm gonna add my oregano. Now I'm gonna give it about 30 to 40 seconds of pulsing. And quick heads up, guys, you're gonna wanna scrape the sides down once or twice. We gotta add our cheese, about a 30-second pulse. Now I gotta add some olive oil, Vito and Joe's. And I'm gonna add about 2 to 3 tablespoons of olive oil to it. And now I'm looking at about a 15-second pulse. Guys, is that delicious or what? Can you get the aroma right there? My pasta is done. It's just perfect. So I want to get that out of the water as fast as possible because it's perfect al dente, just under al dente. Now, a quick little tip. You're going to take some Vito and Joe's extra virgin olive oil. Maybe now just a tablespoon and a half. Take your bucatini and you put it right in there and give it a stir. You don't have to worry about any of your pasta stick, and plus it adds that delicious flavor of extra virgin olive oil. And don't worry about a little bit of the water. That's good. You want a little bit of that pasta water. It's deliciously flavored with all the starch. So here's my pesto, and I'm gonna go ahead and just spread probably about 2/3 of it on there. Just real gentle, take your tongs and give it a good stir throughout your pasta. Now what I'm gonna do is take my tomatoes and just real simple, just put a little bit of a garnish on the outside. And then yes, obviously, some more cheese. Finish it off with a little parsley. As you guys know, favorite time is taste time. What do you say? Oh boy, I'll tell you. The aroma in here is great. Guys, I got a nice twirl here. I'm just gonna open it right up in there. Oh, that is good. I'm gonna hit it with some cheese, a little parsley, maybe a couple pieces of tomato. All right, let me get the perfect bite here. All right, here we go. The aroma, you definitely get the basil, the parsley, a little bit of the oregano, the garlic, absolutely. Oh, my mouth is watering. And then the Parmesan cheese for sure. It's hot. And, you know, I love the eggplant. It just has that subtle roasted feel. And then you get the nuts, the olive oil, the salt, the pepper. The bucatini is cooked absolutely perfect. That al dente, you know, you want that bite. You want that chew to it. It gives you that texture. All right, one more. Boy, my taste buds are still popping. Woo! Boy, that is good, I'll tell you. What a delicious recipe. And thanks so much for taking a trip to Tuscany, Italy with us, right? For a bucatini with eggplant pesto. Boy, that just sounds good, doesn't it? Certainly tastes fantastic. Guys, I know you're getting near the end of the video. Make sure to hit that subscribe button, give me the notification bell, and make sure you give me a thumbs up. I'll tell you what that does. It shares our videos with other people looking for great Italian cooking. Remember to visit us on Cooking Italian with Joe Facebook or Instagram or on our website. Grab yourself a few bottles of Vito and Joe's extra virgin Italian olive oil. We'll drop ship it right to your front doorstep. And guys, last and certainly most importantly, I'll tell you one of the reasons we do our videos, get around the kitchen table with your family. You know, once a month, a couple of times a month. And I'll tell you why. What you're gonna do is you're gonna celebrate your heritage in cooking, whatever that might be. And I'll tell you what's even more important than that, you're gonna set some traditions. Really traditions of love, but you're gonna set some traditions with you and your family. Memories are gonna last you a lifetime. I know they did for me. Hey guys, from my kitchen to yours, until next week, mwah, buon appetito.